Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. XRP volume surpasses $117.2 billion, guys, in 2023, and we're just over halfway through the year. And I think these numbers are only going to grow in the future. So XRP trading volume surged tremendously last year, with investors buying and selling $117.2 billion across the global cryptocurrency exchanges. There has been growing interest in XRP among crypto traders globally, of course, because of the lawsuit verdict. I'm sure, many have had their ears perked up because of this, and we've seen many people now trading XRP, people who probably otherwise wouldn't have. The widespread interest in XRP is reflected in the trading volume across various crypto exchanges since the beginning of the year. And so you guys can see down here, there's some historical data from CoinMarketCap. Kind of difficult to see here. I will link this, though, in the description of the video for you. In May and June alone, we saw $28.7 billion and $35.5 billion in XRP were bought and sold across multiple trading platforms. Interestingly, huge amounts of XRP coins have been traded in July, and that is likely due to the SEC lawsuit verdict. You can see that down in here, guys. Take a look at that trading volume down in here. I've got XRP on the 4-hour. And as you guys can see, boy, the 13th in the morning and afternoon, I guess the full day was flush with XRP traders. You guys can see over there in the top left corner, between 8, and 12 noon on the 13th, we saw $32.797 million. And then $96.461 million just on the 13th alone. So that is huge. XRP right now settling down. We haven't seen too much activity since that initial burst of action. We're still trading around 71 cents. So it's been just hovering really in this range here. And staying above support again. I was saying 72 cents to about 94 cents. Ultimately, though, XRP has moved a little lower, but still staying relatively strong. The last thing we would have wanted to see again was this, okay? Moving down after this initial pump, losing all these gains. We're still holding this support level in here, which is great. If I throw this on the daily, and let me just remove some of that, you guys can see part of what we are looking at is this level up here. So breaking past through this level, and so this is where we're finding resistance, old resistance, trying to break through this old resistance. We did pierce through it up here, but then came back down. And so, if we vacillate in this zone for a while before we move up again, that is completely normal. And as you guys can see right down here, XRP is just hugging that bottom level at around 71, give or take 72. I don't want to split hairs here, but we're in this zone, and that is what is important. We aren't seeing XRP cascading back down in and around here. So a bigger market move, generally helps too. If we just take a look at the numbers right now, market cap is at 1.18 trillion. We got volume down a little bit. Bitcoin in the last 24 hours up 0.2%. We got Ethereum up 0.2% as well. XRP down 0.07. BNB coin down 0.1. So, nothing moving volatile at the moment. Still got to wait for that Bitcoin move, that big Bitcoin move that is going to take all cryptocurrencies to the upside. You can see even over here that sentiment is neutral. So not too much excitement either way. People are just kind of, starting to lose interest again, right? When we have the FOMO, when we have the crypto crowd getting really excited, that's when we're seeing, a lot of different coins seeing new all-time highs, these numbers in the double digits. So haven't seen that for a while, but guys, we are still making our way up. Let me just bring up Bitcoin real quickly here, and you guys can see Bitcoin trading at around 29,200 as of the time of this recording. So not too much in the way of movement, but the broader picture does still show us these higher lows for Bitcoin and higher highs for Bitcoin. So we're still moving up. And again, it's going to take some time, but we're getting there slowly but surely. Wanted to mention this, and then I'm going to talk about the XRP story coming out of Palau. The Cryptic Wolf 1 here on Twitter posting this, officially a digital resident of Palau, and you guys can sign up to be a digital resident of Palau if you want. Apparently, there's a link here. We'll be using my Republic of Palau ID for KYC on multiple crypto exchanges. So this might, in fact, be a way to trade crypto. Depending on how they, decide to regulate cryptocurrency in the country that you live. I don't know how easy this is. The Republic of Palau kindly asks you to respect the laws of your current place of residence. So, if you can do that, then boom, I guess you're more likely to be accepted as a digital resident of Palau. And I will leave this link in the description if that is something you guys are interested in. Wanted to keep moving, though, with this story here from Michael Branch. XRP Ledger sees a $25 billion single Palau stablecoin trust line transactions. So we heard about Palau going live. Now it looks like we are seeing volume going through their stablecoin on the XRP ledger. An unknown address recently sent a trust line to the tune of 25 billion Palau stablecoins, or PSCs, on the XRP ledger, but this does not necessarily represent a movement of funds. The XRP community recently witnessed the initiation of a trust line transaction amounting to 25 billion Palau stablecoins on the XRP ledger. The recent development has triggered various responses from community members as proponents ponder its implications to the broader XRP ecosystem. Well, isn't that what we always do? It's good to see the movement starting. That is, just one small island nation. In a sea of countries where we're going to see XRPL transactions accelerate. And I used to say in the coming years, but now I'm thinking in the coming months. So notably, the transaction, which occurred on July the 27th, so a couple days ago, involved exactly 24.993 billion Palau stablecoins. Given that the Palau stablecoin is pegged at a $1-to-$1 ratio, this equals about $25 billion. So a huge move here. The nature of the transaction, well, it's elicited excitement amongst the XRP community. They make a point here that it did not necessarily involve a movement of funds, so we're still kind of wondering what that means. In the context of the XRP ledger, a trust line transaction denotes the establishment of a connection, termed a trust line between two accounts. So they established the connection. This transaction was logged as per Wall Street Bulls here, and I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens next. So I wanted to thank Michael for posting that. More big news too coming out of the US. House Financial Services Committee passes a bill protecting the right to self-custody Bitcoin. So guys, this is a step in the right direction. Self-custodying a Bitcoin will hopefully likely lead to the ability to self-custody other cryptocurrencies. I know a lot of us were wondering, when the ledger issue came up, does this mean that, the US government, or whatever government in any country, can take your cryptocurrency because they'll have access to your cold wallet storage? And Ledger had to come out and essentially say, no, that's not the case. That's not what we built into the system. Well, the Keeping Your Coins Act of 2023 is saying that, to prohibit federal agencies from restricting the use of convertible virtual currency by a person to purchase goods or services for the person's own use and for other purposes, be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. So, short title, this act may be cited as the Keep Your Coins Act of 2023, prohibition on restricting use of convertible virtual currency by a person to retain full control over convertible virtual currency. In general, a head of the federal agency may not prohibit, restrict, or otherwise impair the ability of a covered user to use convertible virtual currency or its equivalent for such user's own purpose, such as to purchase real or virtual goods and services for the person's own use, or 2, self-custody digital assets using a self-hosted wallet or other means to conduct transactions for any lawful purpose. So saying essentially, you can in fact keep your cryptocurrency legally on a Ledger Nano or something similar. Guys, I do have an affiliate link in the description of the video if you guys are interested in using the Ledger Nano. I've been using one since 2017, so I have that link there for your ease of use. You can use it if you want. You don't have to use it though. There are other options too, but now they're saying, essentially you can legally custody crypto, or at least Bitcoin, on self-custody storage. So I think that's a positive step in the right direction. Wanted to thank Watch Your Guru for that. Meanwhile, in Japan, this is what we're seeing here, guys, from Ian Binns. Financial giant SBI showcases XRP usage for ODL remittances in Japan and the Philippines. So more XRP utility being used in the East. Leading Japanese financial giant SBI recently disclosed future developments for ODL in Japan as it leverages XRP for domestic and international remittances. SBI VC Trade, the crypto asset exchange business of financial giant SBI Group, has revealed future developments for Ripple's on-demand liquidity product in Japan. The disclosure details how SBI aims to leverage XRP for ODL remittances in Japan and the Philippines. SBI VC Trade made the announcement during its Zoom webinar on July the 28th, which was just yesterday. The webinar featured speeches from Emi Yoshikawa, Ripple's Vice President on Strategy and Operations, and Tomohiko Kondo, the Representative Director and President of SBI VC Trade. So they had this webinar here, and they tweeted out some slides here. I got them up here on Twitter. SBI VC Trade. Tomohiko Kondo posted this. Thank you to everyone who attended the XRP webinar. We received a comment that the last slide was not visible, so we will repost the slides of ODL's future developments here. And so we posted some of the slides. I guess the webinar is down here if you guys want to watch the full thing. I will link this in the description of the video for you. Yassine Mobarak, though, did point this out. The slide indicates that a huge amount of transaction volume will be coming to the XRP ledger from Asia. So it sounds as though we're going to start to see large XRPL volume coming from Asia specifically. And I'm thinking this was the initial announcement to such a statement. So we got AsiaNet over here. You guys can see Japan using SBI Remit through SBI VC Trade, going to be running on the XRP ledger and Coins.ph, that Ripple partner in Southeast Asia, namely the Philippines, to provide liquidity for these transactions. And so they just are demonstrating this, how that's going to happen, and how you're going to get trades going to the Philippines in this particular example. But I think we're going to see even more than that. Cowboy Crypto here posting this. Okay, translation and image posted by the president of SBI VC. At SBI VC Trade regarding ODL, an international remittance infrastructure that utilizes XRP. As a partner, we are responsible for real-time sending of XRP. So apparently that's what the translation here says. Unfortunate that a lot of this is in Japanese. Nevertheless, it's looking as though through, piecemeal kind of research, we're kind of getting the gist of what, they are talking about here. And again, I will link that Zoom presentation in the description of the video. So wanted to thank Ian Binns, Tomohiko Kondo, and of course, Cowboy Crypto here and Yassine Mobarak as well, just for posting that. Going back to Palau, well, James Wallace was discussing a lot of things with CoinDesk just the other day. Excellent interview with our Ripple VP of CBDCs, James Wallace, discussing the world's first government-issued stablecoin in Palau, with the project aiming to be a poster child for a regulated stablecoin using the public XRPL with very clear boundaries for usage. He also covers the initial use cases, retail, peer-to-peer lending, and using the XRPL decentralized exchange feature, amongst many others. Also love the first question around the partial SEC win for XRP, and suggesting we are all high-fiving Brad in the corridors. And here's what he said. Essentially, the SEC case had almost no impact on Ripple's talks with central banks, said execs. So, when they were discussing, these are central banks from other countries, so why would an American case ever affect another country? And, these countries realized this even at that time. So James Wallace also said the decision that Ripple's sales of XRP did not constitute investment contracts was a major victory, not just for Ripple, but also for the entire industry. I know we've been getting controversial opinions from Bitcoin maxis and blah, blah, blah. We know where their MO is, but, it's good to hear just from another source. Again, a Ripple employee seeing this as a positive thing. This is a 12-minute interview from CoinDesk directly, so I will link this in the description. So he said quite a few things here. XRP Darren bringing up this clip, though. You can issue on a private ledger or a public ledger. When you design a walled garden, you make it really easy for those walls to come down. So he's just paraphrasing Joel Katz, aka David Schwartz here. Listen to what James Wallace, though, has to say about that.
Yeah, I don't want to second guess what the regulations are going to be, right? I think we'll obviously have to, the government at the end of the day is our client, right? We are providing the technology here. And just to give you a little bit more context on that, this platform that we launched recently, and Jen, I think we covered it a little bit on our discussion, is a platform for issuing either CBDCs or stable coins. You can issue either on a private ledger or on the public XRP ledger. And this is the platform that we've deployed in Palau and that we're deploying in other countries. At the end of the day, we are not the operator of that. We are the technology provider. Our clients, are the operators, and they obviously work on the regulatory and legal aspects of the currencies. We provide some thoughts on that, but at the end of the day, that's not our role in these projects.
So kind of laying it out there for some of the people who might not know what Ripple's relationships are like with the governments, as he says, their clients. Another one here from XRP Darren, there are 195 countries in the world, and James says 5 announced and 5 have not been announced. Conversations with 20 more countries on top of that. If the conversations turned into signed deals, that is 30 out of 195 countries, or 15.38%, running on Ripple's CBDC platform that offers private or public XRP, guys. Listen to this.
I would tell you that outside of the US, the SEC case, had almost no impact on our ability to get conversations and projects going with central banks. I know here in the US, we focus a lot on the US, that's what you'd expect. But the reality is that the rest of the world does not see things the same way. I think it's been clear for a while that countries like the UK and Switzerland and Japan have been very clear that XRP is not a security. So anyway, moving on to the CBDC side, it's not really been an impediment. Since we started 2.5 years ago on this project, We've announced 5 different countries that are working with us. We have a similar number that are not announced, and then we have 20 plus other active discussions underway. So we've announced 5 different countries that are working with us. We have a similar number that are not announced, and then we have 20 plus other active discussions underway. So
I love how Darren decided to put the math up here on the screen. So yeah, 15.38%. That is just the beginning, guys. And the fact that, there are still countries, there are still partnerships that Ripple has not even mentioned. I think this may, in fact, be changing the minds of some people around the world, maybe even some US regulators, because SEC Chair Gary Gensler has now decided to avoid discussing the Ripple case after he came out a couple of weeks ago, very adamant, okay? So James Seyffart, a Bloomberg intelligence runner, draws attention to a seeming fact that the SEC Chair Gary Gensler avoided discussing the specifics of the Ripple case in a recent Bloomberg interview. Okay, here's what he wrote on Twitter. Bloomberg TV just interviewed Gensler for 10 minutes. Obviously, crypto was a topic, but Gensler really didn't give a ton of meaningful or new insight. He mostly refused to discuss specifics for the Ripple case or for BTC ETF filings. So the TV interview was moderated by Bloomberg reporter Kaylee Linz. Gensler was asked about his opinions on the Ripple verdict, as well as if the agency planned to appeal it. And guys, did you catch what Gary Gensler said here? Listen very closely. Mr. HBAR also pointing it out. If I hear Gary's recent statement, I think it isn't so 100% sure that they are going to appeal the decision. Like the Maxis cry, not by far. Listen to this.
Institutional investors, not so with retail investors. I know you've previously said you were disappointed by that ruling. The SEC has also said that it intends to seek further review. So does that mean you are going to appeal it? Can you elaborate on your thoughts around that ruling?
Kaylee, great question, but the commission, I'm one of 5 commissioners. Mm-hmm. The commission has not acted on that, and if the staff makes a recommendation, we'll have a discussion of it, and we'll take it up then, but I don't really have anything more for you for that.
So doesn't look like he has too much to say about the Ripple case and a potential appeal. I mean, there are 4 other commissioners. The current SEC commissioners are Gary Gensler, Hester Peirce, Carolyn Crenshaw, Mark T. Uyeda, and Jamie Lizarraga. So, I mean, it depends again on how these guys are going to vote. So it's not just up to Gary Gensler alone. We know Hester Peirce's opinions on crypto, very crypto forward. I think Mark T. Uyeda is also very pro-crypto. Carolyn Crenshaw, I have a feeling, leans more towards Gensler. Not sure about Jamie Lizarraga and his track record. If you guys have any insight on that, please do put it down in the comment section. You can also tag me on Twitter, WorkingMoneyCH. So an interesting statement, though, from Gary Gensler. I mean, this coming as Bitcoin maxis are maybe even pivoting a little bit. This one from JV here on Twitter. Anthony Pompliano shares his thoughts on the XRP ruling.
Let's talk about when is it going to happen with XRP, because, of course, XRP has had an incredible run-up, even as it's got the SEC breathing down its neck. It got a favorable court ruling, and we're waiting to see if the SEC will appeal that ruling, which basically was in XRP's favor. Right now, it's at 71 cents. Where do you think XRP moves toward through all of this drama?
Yeah, I'm not sure about prices. What I do know, though, is you had a group of people who went ahead and they were building a business, building technology. Yep. The government came in and said, hey, look, what you're doing is wrong. You're violating these rules. And they went to court. And I actually think that we are now seeing cases that have been going on for a long time where we're starting to get some of the judgments. We're starting to get some of the clarity. People in the crypto community have been asking for regulatory clarity for a long time. People in the regulatory bodies have been saying the existing rules are the clarity, comply with them. And so I think in the XRP case, it's a great example where they went to court, they laid out their arguments, the regulatory bodies laid out their arguments, and a judge made a decision. Now there's appeals and other kind of knock-on effects, but ultimately in the country of the United States, going to court and making your case is part of what it means to have the best capital markets 100%. And freedom.
Wow, something that I wasn't really expecting there from Anthony Pompliano. So, free markets, they now have every right to go on as planned. Thank you to JV here for posting that. Of course, Mr. HBAR and Ian Binns as well, just for posting those articles too. So Anders posting this. Okay, let me get this straight. Judge Torres stated XRP in itself is not a security in dictum as a part of her summary judgment ruling, which probably can't be appealed according to the lawyers. So what will the SEC appeal? That there's an investment contract amongst unknown participants? on the secondary market in an asset that itself is not a security? Of course, I'm not a lawyer, but I can't see how that's possible. To add to these thoughts, if the SEC appeals, we can be assured Ripple will appeal the institutional sales. How would Ripple not win ODL when there's no profit incentive holding XRP for 3 seconds? I can't see how the SEC would be able to win. See my thoughts above. SEC much to lose, says Anders on Twitter. And, again, just regarding this particular clip, even though the securities laws apply to many of these tokens, notice Gary's wording in that clip. Like Digital Asset Buy says, words mean things. He used to say all cryptos are securities except for Bitcoin. And that, guys, is an important point. All cryptos are securities except for Bitcoin. Now Gary Gensler is changing his tune. Many of these tokens may apply. So again, Gary Gensler was trying to talk a hard game at the beginning, but maybe things are crumbling. Mr. B XRP posting this. To me, this means financial institutions in the US can go live with ODL anytime. I think, guys, we're likely very, very close to seeing that. Originally, in the use of XRapid, now ODL, financial institutions could source XRP through exchanges, which they still can do today. P.S. XRP is not a security, and so just bringing up, according to the summary judgment, ODL-related sales now considered securities, and that response from David Schwartz from the day after we got that verdict. We're still trying to figure this one out. We don't currently have ODL-related sales with a U.S. nexus, and not being able to do so is not really a huge deal. We can still do ODL in the US so long as XRP is never sourced from Ripple directly. So there are workarounds, as I mentioned, but it looks as though Gary Gensler may be changing his tune. Even Bitcoin maxis are changing their tunes, guys. Not to mention that Ripple has unannounced partnerships, and I'm really wondering how big these countries' economies are. Chances are, if they've wanted to keep it secret, these are fairly big. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.